Mr. Wallace, thanks again for coming to St. Louis.
Yeah, of course.
I asked an employee here earlier about how many people were present. They said it was a little over 500.
Wow.
And 500 people in this room are clearly interested in apologetics, whether they're Christians or not.
Yes.
I'm curious to know, what do you say to pastors? What do you say to parents? What do you say to teachers that don't think apologetics or case making or offering a reasonable defense is important?
You know, sometimes the first person you have to convince is the pastor who brought you out, or maybe he didn't bring you out. Maybe it's a deacon or an elder who brought you out. And then you get there and you realize that the pastor, you're in a great place here. And I'm always encouraged when I'm in a church that has a high value for making a case for why this might be true. I think that's important, and it's powerful to see it. So this is a great place, but it's rare. I'll be honest with you. It's rare. What I've been disappointed with as I travel around the country is that a lot of us, if you ask us, why are we Christians, will say things like, well, I was raised in the faith. My parents were Christians. I've always been a Christian. That's like the number one answer I get, which is a good answer. But the second question answer I get is, well, I've had an experience that I interpret as verification for what I believe. That can also be a good answer. And the third one is, well, I was different before I met Jesus. I was, beating my wife and I was drunk, and now I'm better having met Jesus. That's good too. But if you think about it, those are also the same answers that my family is divided between atheists, and my dad remarried. He's got a Mormon wife. I have 6 brothers and sisters raised Mormon. Those are also their 3 answers. So it seems to me that our answers ought to be uniquely Christian in our response, and our scripture is filled with commands that are largely evidential. Sometimes the first people we have to make a case to are Christians, so they understand why we need to make a case to begin with. Yes, we need to make a case, because the entire history of the church has been case-making. From Jesus to his disciples, to the entire book of Acts, to the people who were selected to write the New Testament, to how they even wrote the New Testament, all the way to the first century apologists from Quadras, all the way into the 1st, 2nd century, we have just dropped the ball. But the history of Christianity is filled with case makers. We just got to continue that tradition.